Couch co-op games are increasingly becoming a thing of the past. Back in the days of the first and second generation consoles, it used to be that if you wanted to game together, then you and your friends would have to meet up in order to play, which meant that everyone came over and sat down and enjoyed some good fun. However, nowadays, gaming with your friends is more likely to look like this. People sitting at home by themselves in their rooms and interacting online, most of the times without seeing anyone's faces. This makes it a lot more isolated, whereas it used to be quite different once upon a time. Even if you were playing single-player games, at the very least you might have done so with the family onlooking, alongside your siblings or friends, making the affair something fun to do with friends and or family. However, thanks to chatting groups like Discord and the abundance of online multiplayer games, this has become a thing of the past. Let's compare old co-op games to some newer ones. On the PlayStation 2 there were a lot of interesting co-op games, some that were incredibly unique, such as Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Others that followed a sort of formula, and kept with it, like X-Men Legends, Samurai Warriors,
Halt the cavalry.
or Gauntlet 7 Sorrows.
Red Warrior needs food badly.
In this installment of Mortal Kombat, you play as Liu Kang and Kung Lao, two players on one screen and exploring a three-dimensional world in an interesting way. This game was very well thought out, and was clearly made for two players. It also encourages a lot of teamwork between you and your friend or your sibling. In order to best the campaign, you have to fight alongside one another and play off the other's strengths, because the health bar is shared between both players. In the end, you get a wonderful co-op experience that isn't present with most new games nowadays. Perhaps the best modern local co-op game that I can think of is It Takes Two, which follows a mom and dad as they are turned into toys and must learn to work together in order for them to return to their normal bodies. And throughout the campaign, they also learn to deal with their problems and issues and end up saving their marriage and sparing their daughter the hurt of having her parents split up. It's a wonderful game that really plays off the two-player experience, and it is good fun. But beyond that, how many other games can really boast this sort of success? If we look at the most successful video games, they are likely single-player campaigns, such as God of War and The Last of Us, or else it is the latest Call of Duty game, which really emphasizes the idea of sitting by oneself in their room playing with people online. Now, games like Call of Duty and Modern Warfare do have local split-screen multiplayer, but if you're playing on PlayStation, it means buying the game for anywhere from $60 and upward, and also paying for an online subscription to the PlayStation Network, PSN, in order to play online. Some games are even worse. Games like Gotham Knights emphasize that it is a game for multiple players, just not on the same console. If two people would like to play this, then they would need two PS4s, or two PCs, or two Xboxes, and two copies of the game. Clearly, one can see the consumerist motivation for having less co-op games come out. But could there be a more sinister motivation as well? Previously, games used to throw in local co-op, sometimes just on a whim. Take Onimusha 4 for example, which included two-player co-op as a cheat code that one entered in the menus, and could then play the campaign as a duo rather than by yourself, which makes the experience a lot more fun. Games like Halo had co-op within the story, simply because they knew that two people might like to play the game together. 4-player local co-op was also quite popular amongst older games, like Gauntlet and the later Halo games. Some modern games that have split-screen co-op include the Borderlands series, Ark Survival Evolved, and then not much else that you might have heard of. And that's excluding the obvious fighting and racing games, where there is usually a versus mode. Now, could this push for more isolation and online multiplayer be a way to have young men stuck in their rooms rather than go out and socializing with people in the real world? It must surely contribute to it at the very least, regardless of whether it is intentional or not. And gaming in this way could also contribute to the idea of raging in online video games. When you're around or with people, you're less likely to begin raging and raising your voice, and just becoming outright nasty when playing a game. But if you did it as a group of friends getting together and playing games, or even as a family doing it, then it becomes a much more wholesome affair. And people can be seen as just having fun, and you're less likely to begin seething at the mouth because of some cheater online. Now, all this being said, if you're going to play an online game, enjoying it with friends is better than playing it alone. Not everyone can meet up all the time, and so chatting with someone online is not something that is entirely without its merits. Especially when you're older, it becomes much more convenient to simply play a game with someone from the comfort of your own home, and have a good chat, and hopefully a few laughs with that person. It also helps if you don't take games too seriously. At the end of the day, it is just a video game. Everyone wants to win, but there's no use in raging when you lose. If you feel yourself getting annoyed or frustrated playing a game, best thing to do is just to turn it off. Video games should really be used in a way that brings families and friends together. It should be something that you experience with someone that is close to you, and can become something quite wholesome. I know that a lot of fathers in my generation will likely want to show their sons and daughters video games of the past, but make it a family affair. Don't encourage them to play by themselves, but share the experience with them. Find some couch co-op games and play together, or find some good single-player campaigns that one can play through and the other can view it like a movie. I wouldn't be holding my breath for much new couch co-op games, or any games for that matter, of genuine quality coming soon. But this is also true for most of the player base. Games like BattleBit show that players are just looking for any game that people put some genuine love and effort into, so if you have the talent, why not give it a go? That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed, and feel free to comment below, and I'll see you in the next one.